This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Born Wild, the show that takes you to the heart of wild India. This week we're in Nagarhole National Park in Karnataka. One of India's premier wildlife parks, Nagarhole has recently been inducted into the Project Tiger. Nagarhole has, with grit and determination, only improved upon what has already been its natural heritage. It's a sterling example of what focus and will can do to help protect the tiger. We're here this week to take a look at this park, to look at why it's such a crucial part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, and also to see what some of its future challenges might be. Way up high in the canopy, a Malabar squirrel grooms itself. Bright birds flit through green leaves as elephants lumber through the dense foliage. A crucial part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, Nagarhole National Park, renamed the Rajiv Gandhi National Park, is the catchment area at the foothills of the Sahyadris, or the mountains of the monsoons. The Western Ghats. The park gets its name from several streams and rivers that wind their way through it like wet snakes, hence the name Naga and Hole, or stream. The park is a mix of wet and dry deciduous forests interspersed with hudloos, or small grass patches. These hudloos are a great source of food for the wild ungulates of the park. At one time, this park was the exclusive hunting grounds of the Maharajas of Mysore. Today, it is a Project Tiger Reserve covering an area of 650 square kilometers. As Nagarhole is situated in the foothills of the Western Ghats, it receives the runoff from the rainwater. It's a moist tropical deciduous forest. What Nagarhole is mainly noted for is the fact that it has 7 ungulate species. That is, it has the sambar, it has the wild boar, it has the cheetal, it has the chausinga, the barking deer, the gaur and the elephant. It also has 3 of the top predators. It has the wild dogs, the leopard and, of course, the tiger. During the days of the British, the park was more or less used as a cash cow. Its valuable timber cut and used. In fact, many of the surrounding hills and slopes were turned into plantations by the British for teak and rosewood. It is not unusual to drive through Nagarhole and suddenly come upon trees planted neatly in a row on one side and lush forest on the other. Today in the national park area, it is illegal to fell any tree, and so secondary growth has slowly taken over these areas, bringing back the animals. But even now, the abundance of life to be seen in the canopy of the natural forest area is missing on the plantation side. The king of the canopy is undoubtedly the Malabar giant squirrel. Easy to spot, these animals are a delight to watch. They can leap a distance of 6.5 meters and rarely come down from the treetops. They're also called the Indian giant squirrels and come in different colors. The ones found in the Western Ghats are called the Malabar squirrels. They live in pairs and nest on the canopy. Vegetarians, they need a variety of trees to survive, which is why you will rarely see them in the plantation patches where only the teak is found. If the Indian giant squirrel is the king of the canopy, then on the ground it would have to be the tiger. Our first glimpse of the tiger in Nagarhole was not without prerequisite drama. First, from high up in the Machan, we could see elephants, females with baby and deer. Watching the elephants amble slowly back and forth in calmness, we knew that there were no big predators in sight. In the distance, a young sambar buck also grazed in peace. Then the elephants, having finished with their grazing, ambled away towards the low hills and suddenly the calm sambar buck turned watchful, alert, and then he started to make alarm calls. We knew from his stance that the tiger was near. The elephants then were the next indication. They rushed at something in the undergrowth and trumpeted loudly and then backed away protectively with their calf in the middle. We knew then that the tiger was going to emerge, and sure enough, minutes later, she came into view. At one time, the park was plagued with problems of poaching and habitat loss. But now in the last decade, patrolling has been stepped up and park boundaries are being well protected.
Things were terrible in '67. There was illegal cultivation, there was massive logging by the forest department, there is widespread poaching. After 1972, after the Wildlife Protection Act came, things started improving. And by the time I began my research in '86, tiger populations were really bouncing back, the prey numbers were high, and now I have 20 years of data to show that in these 20 years the prey populations have remained very high, tiger density has remained extremely high. In fact, one of the highest tiger densities in the world, and despite losing roughly 20% of the population every year, the population is not going down because there's sufficient reproduction to replace the losses. I do think it's one place that has improved, and it has improved because both the government and the NGOs involved in conservation there have worked together by and large, despite some skirmishes, and made things happen.
The park is ringed in on most sides by coffee estates which are not being allowed to expand. Nagarhole, nestled between Bandipur, Wayanad, also the Brahmagiris, requires the contiguous forest belts to allow for the migration and spread of its animals. This keeps the populations healthy with the exchange of genetic material and also enables the Western Ghats to be one of the most biodiverse areas of the world. The park was not always so well managed. In 2003, over 70 elephants were killed in Nagarhole, mostly for ivory. The pictures of tiger trapped with its leg in a steel jaw exposed the utter lack of protection within the park. A week after the tiger was rescued and taken to the zoo, many people, tribals from Katni in Madhya Pradesh, were caught in the park trying to trap animals. The resulting public outrage ensured that the forest department cleaned up its act and patrolling was stepped up. The result, tiger populations are growing and the elephants have also made a comeback. However, for the forest department, there are still many issues to deal with.
We have to look after the poaching and the illicit felling and firewood collection, and this grazing is a major problem. These are all the main problems in the park we have to face. And after all, with all these problems, we have some tribal problems also.
And it does not help that there is close to 50% vacancies.
Most vacancies we have, about 50% staff vacancies are. It's very difficult. Even then we are managing we are taking the daily wages people and we are managing.
And now Nagarhole is a whole new issue to grapple with. Relocation of tribals living within the core area of the park.
People and tigers can coexist at a large landscape scale, say all of Mysore district or all of Karnataka. But if you are talking of critical tiger habitats where you need high reproduction of tigers, cubs growing up and dispersing out, in those habitats, coexistence is not possible, because what happens is the activities that people have to do to survive, like carry on agriculture and livestock raising, come into severe conflict with tigers. If you put a tiger in the middle of cows, the tigers will kill the cows and there will be conflict. So there is perennial conflict, and usually the tigers are the losers. So I don't think a small fraction of the land in which are really critical tiger habitats, we should not force coexistence on either people or tigers.